Hello my wonderful, beautiful friends, guys. Welcome back to r/EntitledPeople, where Karens are running wild, thinking they rule the world. And in this episode, OP tells a tale about the time they had to deal with this entitled Karen for 2 hours, and the story is wild. I hope you enjoy the lineup today, don't shake your heads too hard, and as always, you can send or link your post to this email right here. Let's dive in. So my ex-wife used to work at Walmart. The store was open from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. most days, except for holidays and New Year's, where they closed early, at 6 p.m. New Year's Eve one year, she was working until close. I was off that day, and we had plans to go to a party, so we decided that I would meet her after work and we would leave from there. So I get to the store at 6 o'clock on the nose. They were already turning away customers and locking the doors at this point. Anyone inside got to finish checking out, and then they had to leave. I knew the manager, so I asked if I could just wait inside the doors until my wife was done work. It was fairly cold and snowing out, so he said no problem. At this location, they had in and outdoors, which worked regardless of which side you were standing on. So they had to lock both those doors, and they were letting people out through the emergency exit door, located in between them, which can only be opened from the inside. I was standing off to the side by the exit doors. As people tried to leave, they would head to the exit doors, see them locked, and stand there for a second, not exactly sure what to do. Then they would head to the emergency exit door. Once they had locked the doors, there was no staff out front directing anyone where to exit. So I decided to be nice, since I knew most of the staff and I was already standing there anyways. So when people came out, I let them know that the big door was locked and they had to use the middle door. Apparently everyone had decided to come in just before closing, and it took at least 45 minutes to clear out the store. At about 6:40 or so, Karen comes and she bangs on the door right behind me. Now at first, I just ignored her, but it sounded like she was gonna smash the glass doors, so I turned to her. And Karen says, "Please, I need to get inside. It's an emergency. My son is sick." I tell her, I'm sorry, they're closed. Karen says, "Please, my kid, he needs medication. I need to get inside. Where's your manager? My son is really sick, and I'm so worried." Again, I say to her, "I'm sorry, I'm just waiting for my wife." That's when one of the last customer comes out of the store and heads right for the locked door. I said the same thing I was saying all night. "Sorry, the big doors are locked. You're gonna have to use the small one right there." The guy says, "Okay, thank you." And no sooner do they open the door, Karen pushes past them, not even letting them out first, and walks right up to the second indoors, which are also locked. She then turns to me and yells, "Unlock these doors now, or you'll be responsible for my child if he needs to go to the hospital." I say to her, "Like I said, lady, they closed 45 minutes ago." At this point, the manager sees the commotion and he comes out, and the manager says, "Hey, we're closed." Karen says, "Please, I just need to pick up a few things. I'll be right out. My child is very sick. He's got a high fever, please." The manager says to her, "I'm sorry, but all the registers are closed. That was the last customer of the night. We open again Monday at 7 a.m. She then points to me and says, "This guy opened the door and he let me in. He told me I could get all my shopping done tonight." That's when the manager looks at me and I just shake my head. The manager says, "Ma'am, honestly, I don't think he's moved from that spot for the last hour. He's waiting for his wife." That's when Karen says, "Please, I'll level with you. I'm throwing a party tonight, and it was a last-minute thing, and I forgot to get supplies. It's a huge party. I really need to get in there for a few minutes, that's all." Hearing her say that, the manager and I just look at each other dumbfounded. The manager tells her the lights are shut off, so it's against safety regulations for you to even be in here. I can't let you in. Now at this point, I almost felt bad for her. Almost. Lucky for her, I live down the street, so I knew the area fairly well. I say to her, "There's a variety store just across the street. They're open 24/7 every day, even Christmas, so they should be open right now." Now, what I didn't tell her was my ex and I referred to this place as the emergency variety because everything there was 3 times the normal price. So I hope she enjoyed the $10 bags of chips and the $3 cans of pop. Karen said, "Oh, thank you." Guys, the things people will say or do to get what she want, right? Like the audacity of this woman to lie about having a sick child to get inside the store to buy chips and pop. Like, I'm speechless. Like, the woman went from, "My child has a high fever and might have to go to the hospital," to, "Oh, I'm throwing a huge party tonight. I forgot to buy chips and pop." Like, are you shaking your heads as much as I am? Okay, so this is going back to 2003. At the time, I'm working a minimum wage job at a very busy gas station. I'd only been there a few months. I knew the ropes of the place, and like I said, it was very busy. There were always lines of cars and trucks going down the highway, and a line of customers going out the door, and I'm working alone as usual. There were hundreds of customers with places to be. That's when Karen comes. She gets out of a taxi, comes up to the front of the line, past all the customers waiting patiently, and she looked to be about 70 years old. She's dressed head to toe in black velvet, a fur coat, and she's wearing more platinum jewelry than I've ever seen. She also looked vaguely familiar. The woman demands in a very snobby voice, "I need gas." I say to her, "I'm sorry, but you have to wait your turn," as I serve the other customers. That's when Karen says, "I need gas and my car collected from down the road." That's when me and a few customers give her a weird look, and I say to her, "If you've broken down, I have the number for a tow service that you can use, and our phone." That's when I hand her a card with the number and the phone, in between customers. The woman just looks at the card and the phone as if I've put dead rats on the counter, and she says, "Why can't you do it? That's your job." I say to her, "I'm afraid to say I can't. It's very busy today." I said that while pointing to the customers, and Karen says, "No, go retrieve my car." At this point, I'm wondering, what the F? We're a gas station. We don't do recovery services. Again, I tell her that I just can't leave to go get her car, and she says, "Nonsense. You will get my car right now." At this point, I'm just getting annoyed, and so are the other customers. Like, the woman lets her car run out of fuel, leaves it on a gridlocked highway, takes a taxi to my station, and somehow it's my fault and responsibility to rectify the situation. I tell her I can't close the station. I'm here on my own. I don't even own a car or even have a license, but if you wait patiently for me to serve the customers, I will call someone for you when I have a free moment. Just be aware that there's a fee. Hearing that, she now gets red in the face and says, "Are you stupid? Why should I pay? My car has run out of gas. You are a gas station, so you have to deal with it." Now, I'm trying to keep cool. I'm serving customers, trying to find an alternative to get her out of the store at this point. I say to her, "In that case, there's red cans behind you that you can purchase and fill." The woman then proceeds to throw a tantrum. She picks up a gallon can and slams it on the counter and says, "Go fill it. I'm not paying for it. It's your responsibility to provide fuel. And your customer service is atrocious. I refuse to pay, and you will pay for my recovery, my gas, and my taxi." At this point, I just shout that she can leave, and the entire line of customers starts chewing her out too, telling her to get the F out, that we're busy and we're tired of her. Of course, she screams that I'm gonna lose my job as she storms out and gets back into the taxi outside. We did hear back about a week later. She had gone to customer complaints and she reached the regional manager, complaining that I was responsible for her car running out of gas and being abandoned on a highway, that me refusing to pay for towing and refueling caused her to be humiliated in front of customers, and she demands reimbursement and compensation for poor quality of service. Finally, she requested a letter of apology, written and signed by me with my letter of resignation. A week after this, my manager pulls me aside. She knew all about it. She had heard the story from me and a few regular customers as well, and she watched and heard it all on the security cameras. The Karen sounded crazy, and she looked like she had just come from a funeral. She chalked it up as being emotionally drained, a mix of being senile and mental health issues, and she said not to worry about it. She'd seen worse. Then she got the letters and phone calls from head office that threw her theory out the window. She hands me a copy of the response letter that was sent to Karen, stating that she was banned from all of our company stations nationwide, also informing her that the company is not a charity, and entering one of our stations or approaching our staff will result in removal by police. That's when I read the name and realized that she was my old principal. She was an old hellhound when I was 5 years old, and she looked like she got worse as she got older. The audacity and entitlement of that woman, right? Like, how about keeping an eye on your fuel gauge, Karen, and not letting yourself run out of gas and having to blame others for your actions? And to think that she was a principal of a school. And guys, if you think that was crazy, oh boy, this next story is wild. I'm a 28-year-old male customer service representative for a very reputable insurance company in the US. I've had experience in this job in different companies ever since I finished high school. And as a disclaimer, I'm just in charge of regular customer service stuff. I do not have a say on insurance claims, and that's an entirely different department. Also, I'm an outsourced employee. Most customers don't mind. Some occasionally ask where I'm from, and there's the rare occasional a-hole that asks for someone to speak English as soon as they hear my accent. I don't care though, I'm used to it. Generally speaking, American customers are very nice and patient, more than the ones in my country, so I've never really understood where all the retail and customer service horror stories from the internet came from. But today I did. Today, a Karen calls. As soon as I answer, I hear a lot of background noise, and the first thing I do after introducing myself is ask for the policy number. I can hear a man in the background yell between a lot of noise what I realize is in fact the policy number, and I ask him to repeat it since I couldn't hear it very well. That's when Karen decides to take the lead and let me know that she's driving through the interstate while calling me, and that she doesn't want me to waste her precious time. And I'm like, okay, how can I help you? And I kid you not when I tell you that this woman started screeching to the point that I had no idea what she was saying. Now yes, I'm not a native English speaker, but it's never been a barrier for me. And I could not for the life of me understand why this woman was so angry. Between the insane yelling, I could make up something about her policy being cancelled and her being charged anyways. Seeing the direction the call was going, I decided that my best move was to immediately contact a supervisor through chat to get some assistance. I informed Karen of this and asked her to give me a few minutes while I checked on my side of the screen what's happening with her policy. Karen, however, decided that I was a genie and I was supposed to grant her wishes and solve the issue she was having without even knowing the issue she was having and without checking for possible solutions. She had decided that I was not allowed to place her on hold because she won't wait. Now, I've had my fair share of angry customers, and I know better than to let them take control of the call. So I explicitly tell her that if she wants my help, she will need to cooperate with me and let me figure out what's going on. At that, she reluctantly agrees, but she says she'll be counting the minutes when I specify that the hold will not be longer than 5 minutes. So the first supervisor interaction, and I'm just like, I have no idea what this woman wants. She's yelling at me, she's very angry, what is happening here? We then start piecing together emails, notes, and everything left, and realize that she's requested for the policy to be cancelled, and provided proof to have a backdate cancellation, and it was all processed smoothly. She even got a response telling her that she would get the refund she expected, and now I was even more confused. My assumption was that maybe she was just angry that she hasn't been refunded yet, which is just a bank time thing and nothing we can do about. So I'm like, okay ma'am, don't worry, you'll be getting your refund, it's bank timing. And that's when she informs me the real issue. She was magically charged again last night, so I double check, triple check with my supervisor, and there's literally no traces of this supposed charge that she got last night. And don't get me wrong, I don't really believe she was lying about it, we just had no proof of it. So I asked her to send us a copy of the bank statement so we can issue a refund right away, and hearing me say that, she just loses it. Once again, she starts screeching how she's driving to go into surgery, how she's gonna sue the company, sue me personally, sue my family, and all the colorful insults you can imagine, including my accent and country of origin. She kept going on and on how we stole her money and she wants it back. I insist that I just need some record of it to issue the refund, and I genuinely try to reason with her, explaining to her that I just can't issue a refund for someone who calls asking for a refund when it's not showing up in the system, and that I genuinely want to help her. And here's where it gets good. Apparently she was so freaking angry that she was driving like a maniac on the road and she got pulled over by police and was given a ticket. When the police ticketed her, she asked for my name so she could send me the ticket, as she wasn't going to pay for it because I was the one causing her distress. And if I don't agree to pay for it, once again, she'll get her lawyer and sue me. That's when I told her that she should not be calling while driving, and that's not our responsibility. However, I did give her my name. Good luck with that. I'm on the other side of the world. She then said that's what hands-free is for. And hearing her say that, I had to hold back laughing because it was only then that it hit me how not only entitled she was, but how stupid this woman clearly was. Now, the part that really got under my skin was not the insults, the yelling, the racism, or whatever. It was how insanely unreasonable this woman was. Her concern was completely valid, and I told her multiple times that she was right to be upset, and right to call us to get things fixed, but she needed to cooperate with me. But she was just hellbent on releasing her anger and frustration on me. She would literally scream insults at me and then stop to say, "What other names can I call you so you can understand how angry I am?" The worst part is, in my employee handbook, I'm 100% allowed and justified to hang up on a customer like this. Karen thought she had some sort of hold over me, but that wasn't the case. I could have ended the 2-hour-long call at any time I wanted with all the verbal abuse she was throwing at me. But I wanted to help her because I did believe if she was being charged, it was unfair, and I had to fix it. I then start to get suspicious when she consistently refused to send me proof of the charges, no matter how much I reassured her that this would all be fixed as soon as she did. It came to the point where she started telling me that if she died in surgery and her husband became a widow, that it would be my personal fault, and that lawyers would bankrupt me and my family, and we would all be homeless. Don't ask me why, but that made me snap. For the first time in the call, I told her not to speak to me like that, and not to say stuff like that. The woman was so thrown aback from my reaction that she actually calmed down for like 5 minutes, give or take. I actually had hope then that maybe we could end this call on a good note, but to no avail. Karen still wanted me to trust her word that she was being charged $50 on a canceled policy, and she wanted the money back. I finally told her if she's not willing to send proof, to dispute the charges with the bank. She said she shouldn't have to call her bank, and I told her, "You've told me many times that this is illegal and fraud. Given what you've told me yourself, I strongly encourage you to dispute the charges with your bank." I then asked if there was anything else I could do for them, and ended the call, while her and her husband were taking turns insulting me. I had to change my status to take a breather, and that's when I realized that most of my coworkers were looking at me extremely concerned. Apparently the yelling could be heard through my headset. My supervisors congratulated me for keeping my cool and keeping control of the call. I still feel guilty because I couldn't help her, and I'm not saying this for pity points, I really do. I was so willing to help her. I love my job, but she just wanted someone to be mad at, so F you, Karen. Wow guys, I just want to say that OP has incredible patience, and honestly, I'm actually surprised that OP stayed on the call for this woman for 2 freaking hours, guys, and endured all of this. But hey, with that said, OP's now got a crazy story that they can share with everyone. And this person says, "I'll bet the charge was actually the refund. I had a customer like that. She shoved her bank statement in my face while screaming, and I pointed out that it was a credit, not a debit, so she left thoroughly embarrassed." Alright, so for my friend's 3-day wedding, I had to buy 3 different dresses, including alterations and specific shoes, which totaled over $700. She also wanted different hairstyles for each day. Unfortunately, starting in March, due to my health, my hair started to deteriorate. Due to health reasons, my hair was falling out in chunks. And in May, I made the difficult decision to cut my hair. I told the bride about my decision 2 weeks before the wedding, and she didn't say anything bad. The following week, she came to my house, and when she was about to leave, she brought up that she was concerned about my haircut and what it would look like in pictures. And I told her it would look good, even though I wouldn't be uniform with the other bridesmaids. The following day, I received this message. The message said, So after our recent conversation, I would like to remind you of my boundaries. I've been very accommodating and graceful, but I can't allow you to disrespect me. As you know, my wedding has been something I've dreamt of for many, many years. It's my day. My husband and I have invested a lot of money into the video and photos of this day, and as we reflect on this day, we want to see our vision reflected in the memories. Since I asked you to be bridesmaid, I've been very clear and very communicative in my request. The timing of your decision to cut your hair and not inform me in advance is very upsetting to me. I would have felt respected if you had communicated with me more than a week prior to the wedding, so we could have worked out together to find a solution. Your inconsistencies have concerned me, and while I do sympathize with your health condition, I am not willing to compromise my wedding day, the vision that I've had for years, to accommodate you. Since this is something you can no longer fully commit to, I need you to please step down from participating in my wedding. This was sent 3 days before the wedding. I immediately sent her and her husband an invoice, asking them to reimburse for the dresses and shoes, keeping in mind that one of the dresses is still in her possession even though I paid for it. Neither of them replied, so I decided to take them to court. I was told that I was inconsistent and selfish after I spent the past 2 weeks helping her plan the wedding shower and worked with another bridesmaid to surprise her with a bridal shower after our bachelorette trip had to be cancelled. I also spent hours and hours helping her out with wedding details. When she asked me to help her tone out before the wedding, I sent her a personalized workout program and even went with her to the gym to show her the ropes. When I agreed to be her bridesmaid, I was more than willing to oblige with what she had asked, even if at times it was a lot of time and money. So the post ends right there, guys, but honestly, I understand that wedding days are special and people have dream weddings and visions of what they want for their special day, but I feel like the bride was being wildly unreasonable. Like kicking a girl out of the party for not having the same hairstyle as the rest. Wow, that is something else. And who knows, maybe Opie's health-related hair loss was caused by the stress of being this lunatic's bridesmaid. She does come back with an update though that says it's been a long time coming. In December, I got the notification that a court date had been set for February 7th, and since it's a small claims, we would represent ourselves. I began gathering my evidence and created a virtual file, which I shared with the court and her 7 days before the hearing. On the day she showed up, we were given the chance to settle, but that was unsuccessful. When we returned to the hearing, I found out that she had also made a virtual file with her evidence, but she never shared it with me. The court then made her share it, and what a surprise I had. She had copied my entire format for presenting evidence. Keep in mind that this is a format I created, and she didn't even have the decency or brain cells to make up something herself. The hearing proceeded, and we were both given a chance to share our side, and I won't go into details of it, but it probably took 15 minutes. In my state, they don't give you the verdict right away. It can take up to 90 days, and so I waited and waited and waited. Almost 90 days after, I got a verdict, and I won. She's been ordered to pay me the total of $808.94 for the dresses and shoes. I have to return the 2 dresses and shoes I gave to her. I don't see her appealing it, or fingers crossed, she doesn't. All in all, I'm very happy with the outcome and so ready to close this chapter. So yeah, knowing how perfect the girl wanted her wedding, guys, I am so curious as to how it turned out. Like, was it the dream wedding she's always wanted? Did it crash and burn? Were the photos perfect, with everyone's hair, dresses, and makeup done to the bride standards? We'll never know. And that, my friends, brings us to another end of r/entitled people. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the stories today. If you did, hit that thumbs up. And if you missed the last episode on the channel, it's an r/entitled people episode. Another one where Karens won't seem to stop getting arrested. Guys, go check it out if you haven't. And myself and Stevie Boy will see you guys in the next one. We love you.